Redditors with ad/ad. What's something you wish people knew about ADHD? It's hard to remember things. If I don't think about it, other things get on my mind, and eventually I just forget. I'm talking about like a matter of minutes. The worst part is that no matter what, it always sounds like a pathetic excuse. I always feel like shit when I say I forgot, because I really did, but everyone else thinks I'm lying. I feel you so much. I write things down to remember them, but then forget about checking what I wrote / where I wrote it, so it barely works. I often end up asking people to remind me of the things, because otherwise I'll much probably completely forget. As an adult it makes me feel so dependent. My ex-wife would berate me about this. Just set a reminder in your phone, she'd always say. I'd try to explain that it doesn't help, because if I can't perform the task the exact moment that the reminder goes off, I instantly forget about it. Yes, I did set a reminder to pay the phone bill. It went off while I was in the middle of doing dishes. By the time I'm done with the dishes, I've forgotten that the phone bill exists. I'm listening to what you are saying, it may just not look like it. And for me, if I do look like I'm listening to you, chances are I'm not. Looking at the board / screen in meetings, scanning a printout of something left on my desk, eye contact and occasional nodding in conversations. Those are the things that tend to make my mind drift off the most. So if I'm doing them, I'm probably not sure what you just said. If I've covered an A4 sheet of paper in doodles, however, I've probably had a good meeting. This is so relatable. Something people don't understand about ADHD is that stimulus cuts both ways for us. Welcome and controlled stimulus, like doodling or fidgeting, can help us focus. Unwelcome and uncontrolled stimulus, like someone else's conversation off to my left, or a tiny blinking LED in my peripheral, will completely derail our brains. I can be distracted from a conversation by simply thinking too hard about focusing on the conversation. I'll think, man, I'm doing such a good job at focusing on this person's lips moving and their body language, and, oh shit, I haven't actually heard the word coming out of their face. The worst part about ADHD for me is that I also have cardiomyopathy, and I can't take any of the stimulant ADHD drugs. There are alternatives, but none are as effective. Ad he's smart, but doesn't apply himself. I heard that all the time growing up. You have so much potential, I don't understand why you aren't using it. Are you or my teachers ever? Heh, heard it every day pretty much from 3 to 6th grade, heard it every day, because I was in the principal's office every day, where I got a pencil and some time to talk with the principal about W/E I wanted, and then I went back to class. Never understood why I was sent, because I wasn't yelling or hitting, I just asked lots of questions. It's not just hyperactivity. It's hyperfixations, sudden bursts of motivation followed by week-long bouts of nothing, because suddenly nothing captivates my attention, etc etc. Edit, my first silver? Thank you so much, Reddit. I'm glad I was able to help a few of you out in recognizing some of the struggles that come with ad/ad, and even help a few of you realize this may be exactly what you're experiencing. As far as I know, the test is free to take. So I recommend those of you who think you may have ADHD get tested, just so you can get a place to start. Hyperfixation's on the weirdest shit sometimes too, if you're anything like me. That is, until the next day, when you suddenly don't care anymore, and never look into or study whatever it was that had you so interested the day before ever again. Spent 5 hours during dead week fixing my iTunes library. Probably should have studied, but who can ignore a library with 4 copies of the same song? I'm not being rude and not listening. There's just a problem with my auditory processing. Friend, hey, you wanna go get Taco Bell? Me, what? Friend, you wanna? Me, oh yeah, absolutely. There's a bit of a brain lag sometimes. Eater, this is also a major symptom of auditory processing disorder, which is very comorbid with ADHD. If you relate strongly, you might want to see an audiologist. Or, friend, wanna go to Taco Bell? Me, what? Friend, Taco Bell? Me, no, I got that. Say the whole thing. Friend, huh? Me, what about Taco Bell? It can look very different in women/girls and in men/boys. We can be physically hyperactive, but for many women/girls the hyperactivity is mental. For example, when I'm staring off into space, and it looks like I'm not thinking of much, the reality is my mind is going 1000 miles per hour and I can't stop it. From what I understand, this is also an age thing. Older people with ADHD tend to not be outwardly hyperactive, but their thoughts are still going a million miles an hour. A day, week, month, even a year are not a long time. Especially a day. An entire workday can go by in a split second, and I haven't accomplished a single thing. Where did the time go? How did I manage to do that? Every day is like this except for the few frantic days before a project is due. But it was also 2011 just the other day. It will be 2025 in a few days or weeks. This is the worst part. I don't get to experience time like other people. I barely remember doing the fun stuff over the years. I know I did it, but the memories are on fast forward, always. A long weekend is no longer than a regular weekend. Holy shit. I'm the mom of a 7-year-old with ADHD, and getting him to school in the morning takes a Herculean effort. He will have major emotional outbursts every morning, because I'm rushing him. If I don't keep reminding him to get dressed, eat breakfast, brush his teeth, it would be Saturday again, before he was ready to get to school. I knew ADHD was a part of it, but I also chalked it up to, being 7. There's a possibility that this will never go away. And as a parent, how do I empathize with that and also get to school on time? Rhetorical question. People with ADHD can develop habits and routines. We will go about them on autopilot, yes, and kind of time warp, and meet you on the other side. But then disruption of these routines becomes stressful, so like for example I'm not a morning person, because don't you dare interrupt my routine with questions and conversation. It's not quirky or fun. I had a long bout with depression because of it. This really needs to be more well known. It's really frustrating to see t-shirts and coffee mugs and such with stuff like "Hey look a squirrel" printed on them. That may be part of ADHD for some people, but it seems to delegitimize some of the more serious effects it has on people like us. I'm glad to hear that it sounds like your bout of depression is over. That's fantastic. But if it ever comes back, feel free to message me if you want/need somebody to talk to. To the chatty students sitting behind me in class, I'm not asking you to be quiet BC, I'm trying to be a dick. I'm just physically unable to tune you out. I missed half of lecture, but at least now I know all the intricate details of your weekend plans. Edit. My first ever silver on a post of me venting about ADHD problems. I've found my people, thank you kind stranger. Oh, I hate people like that. I'm in class RN, and I was trying to do work, but the table behind me doesn't know how to be quiet or close their mouth when they're talking. Edit. I could get about 10 kids in trouble with the police with the amount of stuff I've overheard, just because people don't know how to close their mouths.
Goodbye.